decision-making powers like this is.
Well, other communities in the area do this identical thing right here. It's done by the board. It's not done by the department heads, regardless of how many departments they have. It's done by the board.
Let me ask you this, let me ask you this, what prompted this change? Why do you want it changed?
A fellow by the name of, well, I won't give the name out, but a fellow from Virginia that came here a few years ago was what prompted this.
Yeah.
And the public outcry of that and everything else. And then, since that time, some of the hirings that we've had have also had public outcry of, wait a minute, what's going on? How did this guy get to the top? How did this guy ever get into? How did he get the job? You know.
I was told by a politician, Mr. Boots, the victors goes the spoils. Correct? I mean, that's the name of the game.
Hey, hold it right there.
Have you ever
Three
gone?
Democrats against 2 Republicans, and Victor goes to spoil. Amen.
Have you
Watch it.
have you ever gone to somebody? Have you ever gone to somebody and said, hey, you know what? I know this individual. He's a good guy, good worker. You know, why don't you hire him? Or maybe you had a relative or something at one point in time you wanted to get on the village. I mean, who knows? I mean, have you not ever asked or?
As far as it,
I'm
looking for answer.
I mean, that's.
You gonna answer him?
Even back, I've not been involved in picking who was to be hired. I may have looked at applications, and that's as far as I'll take it. I'm not going to go any further with that. But I've looked at applications, but when it came actually time down the road, my involvement was minimal, if any, at all.
My thing is, and I'm going to be perfectly frank with you. Again, my position on this is you against the DPW again.
It's the department head. That's where you're getting the thing wrong. Our chief could go out to hire a janitor down there. He would have to go through this thing, or this process.
No, I
You
don't
might
think
need an
that's the
office
case.
personnel downstairs. That's for the department head. That's not through it. It doesn't cover only one department.
Francis, you can sit there and try to rationalize it all you want. That's the observation I'm getting from this.
Well, you observe the
And I
way you
think,
want
I
it
think,
to.
I think you're wrong. Because I
Well-
think probably in time, when you worked for the DPW, you've approached Reggie Cross, or you approached Haas, or you approached anybody, like, hey, I know this guy, you know, he's a good guy, why don't we give him a chance? That's what it's all about in this town. Everybody knows everybody. You're not gonna get away from that.
The current system, how it's set up with the the 2 foremen and myself doing the interview, that was set up when Mr. Carbo was the foreman. And he conducted several interviews during that process. Did he ask any questions during those interviews? No. He never contributed in that sense. And you are correct, there has been previous times where I've been requested to take a look at relatives.
From anybody,
Well,
from anybody.
Okay.
It happens to the Power Authority.
all right.
You know, it happens to everyone. You know, hire my son.
I believe
It
this
happened
is
at General Motors.
retaliation.
There's a lot of father and son, a lot of relative stuff at General Motors, so.
Why
so-
bother have a personnel committee then? Forget about it. You know
Well,
what?
the personnel
That's
committee was
ridiculous.
set up because somebody
Yeah.
inappropriately exercised his power. True?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay.
Amen.
But the practice went on way before that. That sons, do you have any brothers working on the DPW?
No,
No brothers?
I don't have any relatives in the scene.
No, not you. Are there any?
You know that. Yes, there are.
Did he get some?
Are there any brothers working on the
Yes.
DPW?
There were brothers before I came.
Okay.
The Moosaws, the Pluers, there were brothers
That's
long
my
before
point.
me.
You know
They're
what?
all good workers.
That's right.
It's a small community.
Amen.
You know what? You give somebody a chance that you know. Opposed to somebody that's applying from Canton or Potsdam or wherever. If they're from Massena and you know him, you know he's got good character, hire the guy. That's what it's all about here. You live in Massena, you work in Massena. I mean, am I mistaken?
I'm just really having a hard time
What's hard about it?
why you're having a problem with what he suggested.
Because I think what it does, it takes the power out of the department's head's hands, Tim.
Correct.
And I think you know that.
I'm
going to circle back, and I understand where you're coming from. We're trying to balance out the politics of hiring, but either way, it's going to be lopsided. Either way, there's an opportunity for unfairness. I personally believe that the format that was developed previously provides the necessary checks and balances. It is on the board and the personnel committee to review received applications. And if there are some that look like they absolutely should have been interviewed, then that's on us to say, department head, why did you not interview this guy? He looks totally qualified. Well, you know, I talked to his past employers or whatever. I mean, it's on us to make sure that the right people are interviewed. I don't feel that the board members have the right qualifications to select who will ultimately be interviewed.
Correct. I'll agree, Francis, you probably know the business of DPW more than anybody, or just as much as anybody. But the fact is that next year you may get voted out of here.
It's not DPW.
So-
See, you're going on DPW. You want to.
Who else is there? Who else is there?
I just told you, there's a lot of different ones. Downstairs, you're going to be a new treasurer in a couple of years.
Listen.
Mrs. Dumas is going to be leaving in a couple of years.
Exactly.
This personnel committee was set up, and the mayor at that time appointed or nominated one Democrat, one Republican, and that was supposed to take the politics out of it. Somewhere along the line, that got switched off.
We don't have enough Republicans on the board, that's why.
We got
Yeah.
one lady there.
I know,
Not enough.
She did a heck of a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Mr. McCauley, I'll give you a couple seconds there.
Well, considering I was instrumental in establishing the personnel committee, I feel I must say something. First of all, after you're going through the first use of the personnel committee, I think it was a complete failure. If I had been elected mayor, I would have made some changes. Whether my department heads liked it or not. Okay? Well, I'll say that right out front.
In 3 more years, you got another opportunity.
No way. The best thing ever happened to me was not getting elected. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I sat in on 3 interviews. This gentleman right here, I sat in on his interview when he got hired. Okay? Dan Gruder lives on Bailey Road, correct?
Yes, sir.
His father worked for us. But all we saw was 5 applications. All we saw were the 5 applications that the department head chose to interview. What I think Trustee Carville is saying is that the personnel committee should see if 35 applications come in for that opening that you guys just approved, then they should look at all 35 of them. And now you're all sitting here saying that you want people to live in Massena. This board voted to eliminate the residency rule. You can't have it both ways. Give me a break. No offense, Timmy. You were the leader of that, Leader of what? of getting rid of the residency rule.
Oh, yeah, because it wasn't followed for 15 freaking years.
We tried. We tried.
I'm getting ready to go.
No. Tim, we tried. The 4 years I was on, we tried. He just left here. I almost got lynched.
I'll give you 1 more minute, Joe.
I almost got lynched by the drivers at the fire station because I wanted to force Matt Cooper to live in the village. Correct, gentlemen? You almost lynched me. You know, you remember it all right.
Okay, we're not going to debate. We'll just,
Okay? So I'm agreeing with Francis. That's Francis's point.
for some reason, that doesn't surprise me. But let me say this. I just think, it goes back to your point that you just made. You hired a gentleman whose dad worked for the department. Okay? For 35, to bring up 35 applicants, I don't know. That, to me, that's his job to narrow it down and bring it to the committee and say, look, here's the guys I'm hiring.
And
That's my view on it.
a very good point that Haas made and others made. The board hires the Dan Cases, the hospital heads. We hire those people. We make the choice of management. because then we're entrusting management to do the details of the job that are required, managing those departments.
Tim, that's always,
And I
you've
believe
always
that's
said
their
that.
role. I believe that's
The
their role.
managers, let the managers manage,
So,
just like you do at Power Authority. It's their job, it's their responsibility. If he's hiring the wrong people, then we got the wrong guy in his position. Wouldn't you agree? Herb,
No,
you wouldn't agree to that?
no.
If he makes the wrong
No.
decision, he's.
You're sitting there and you're telling these guys they hire them because they know them, they're experienced. How do you get experience? When I got work at
You
a
look at their
telephone, I didn't
applications.
look at a telephone pole look like. And I retired after 40 years there.
Haas?
You learn.
Haas,
You don't
hire
have
somebody with no experience.
Why not? How are you gonna teach them?
Well, how you
learn?
gonna build a sewer line with somebody who doesn't have experience, Herbie?
Teach them. How they teach?
You don't have enough time in the year to teach somebody to do that.
I'd rather
Your
have
window of
somebody
opportunity is only so long, it's 4 or 5 months in the summertime, that's it, that's what you got.
And then you're gonna hire them for 20 years. And they gotta learn the job someplace. They don't all come in
There's
there.
minimum qualifications by the county.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I can't support this for the obvious reason that I stated. I think you'd be making a drastic mistake, just for past history with the conflict between trustee Carvel and the DPW. Clearly, this points to them. That's my opinion. So, I guess we're gonna be voting on this. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve the personal policy manual revisions for hiring policy as stated in
Chapter 3.
chapter, the revisions that are proposed.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
No,
Motion carries. Congratulations. Okay, closing hands.
May I speak now?
Mr. Boots, you got 5 minutes?
Okay, I don't need 5 minutes. Interesting, your discussion on employment and who's going to interview and who's not. If I recall, and Patty can look it up without any problem, she's very good at that. She'll look it up, and I believe Wayne LeJean made a motion when he was a trustee that the board would be doing the hiring from that point on because he was disappointed, I believe, at who was brought in, okay? And I think it was passed unanimously by the board. Now you bring it up again, you got another motion here. Now I'm going to give you two examples, maybe a little story. Downstairs in the office, come in one day, or my first wife came home, she says, "You got a new girl working down there?" I says, "We do?" So I didn't know that. So I walked down, I found out we had a new girl working for us. I didn't know about it.
Yep,
One of the trustees hired her
yep.
at a higher price than anybody else was paying her. Okay? She didn't work very long. I didn't fire her. I said, "We're going back to what you were going to get." Okay? She left on her own. I was in an establishment, this is the second story. I was in an establishment in Massena, and a person says, "Got a new guy at the DPW." I do? And I was very vague about what he was talking about. Finally, the guy says, "You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?" I said, "No, I have no idea." So I went down, Haas and I had a little discussion. There's a guy hired, okay? He's working there now. He's doing a good job. I have no problem with him. I probably wouldn't have had any problem if it had been brought to me. But he was hired, behind my back,
Right.
kind of thing. But to go back and forth and accuse one person of saying what you had to say tonight, Mr. Mayor, is totally, as far as I'm concerned, out of line. You in your position, you would like to, if you could, but you got 3-2 here, it was, as aptly pointed out, you would like to point this person here, this person here, this person here. It don't work that way.
Who would like to do that?
You would.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, you didn't say it, but you implied it.
What do you
Okay,
I don't
you
understand.
would put anybody in a position of anything that was open at your disposal without having any approval from anybody else. That's what I'm getting from
I
you.
don't understand how you rationalize.
Well,
no.
you think about it.
You're making the comments.
Yes, you made a lot of comments tonight.